Today you're going to learn 4.5 easy dream control techniques for lucid dreaming. So if you want to learn how to control your dreams, watch to the end. So here's the thing. A lot of people think that lucid dreaming and dream control are exactly the same thing, but knowing that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, lucid dreaming, is not the same as controlling your dreams. You need to learn how to control your dreams in order to make the most out of lucid dreaming. But there isn't just one way to control your dreams. There are lots of dream control techniques you can use to make the most out of your lucid dream adventures. So let's jump in. Number 1, wishing or dream magic. Now this is the most obvious dream control technique in the world. It's the one that every beginner lucid dreamer tries. You simply wish for the dream to change the way you want it to. That doesn't necessarily mean saying, I wish this would happen. Sometimes it can be as simple as just trying to use your willpower to change the dream. Now for many people, this is enough to control your dreams. You can fly, you can change objects, you can walk through walls. But wishing is a little bit of a tricky one. Sometimes it'll work for you, sometimes it won't. You can't rely on this alone, because occasionally your brain just isn't going to play ball. For dream magic to work, what you really need is very high lucidity. You need to understand what it really means to be in a lucid dream. But for most people, we've spent all of our lives living in a world where we can't magically change the environment, so changing our mindset that quickly in a dream can be quite tricky, and this is why dream wishing and dream magic, while it's the most popular dream control technique, is one of the most unreliable. Number 2. Schema linking. Now that might sound a little bit weird, but essentially schema linking is simply understanding the nature of the mind and the nature of associations. A schema is a psychological term which basically represents a mental model for a certain thing. So for example, you have a mental model of your mother, a mental model of your childhood home, a mental model of your workplace or school. But you don't have such a clear mental model of, let's say, the planet Mars unless you're an astronomer. So if you find yourself in a dream, say in your childhood home, but you want to get to Mars, your mind is sort of trapped in a pattern that has absolutely nothing to do with Mars. So if you try dream wishing, it's going to be very hard to shift between those two mental models quickly. So schema linking is a way of kind of joining the dots between different types of dream or different types of mental model. So what you would do if you find yourself in your childhood home would be to look for something that is related to the thing you're trying to achieve. So we'll stick with Mars for the time being. How do you go from thinking about the mental model of your childhood home to the mental model of Mars? Well, probably the best thing to do would be to head to the bookshelf and look for an astronomy book. Try to find images of Mars, of space, within that environment. Schema linking is basically trying to join the dots between unrelated models in the shortest possible way. Number 3. Confidence building. Now, one of the main issues with dream control, especially things like dream wishing, is that we simply aren't used to it working in waking life. So when a lot of people realise they're dreaming for the first time or in their first handful of lucid dreams, they're not confident that they have dream control, and that's kind of normal because you've never had it before. So rather than try a big, massive change, a big piece of dream magic, start small. Try small bits of dream control. Try dream wishing something to just levitate ever so slightly, or to imagine someone behind a door. Something really simple. As you become more confident in your abilities of dream control, you'll be able to keep pushing the envelope forward until you become an expert at dream wishing. But if you're struggling with dream control in any way, go back to basics and try something small first. In other words, build your confidence with small acts of dream control, and that will give you more confidence and more chance for larger acts of dream control to work. Number 4. Reframing. So here's an issue for lucid dreamers. Because we've spent our life in a world where we don't have magical powers, we have a framework of expecting no magical powers, and we carry that with us into the dream world. This is why people struggle with dream control. The framework is all wrong. However, there are different ways to frame the experience which will allow us to build that confidence that dream control is possible. So I'll give you a simple example. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and in Star Trek there's this thing called the holodeck. The holodeck is a virtual reality voice-activated program that can generate absolutely anything, almost exactly the same as a lucid dream. If I'm struggling with dream control in a lucid dream, often I'll simply tell myself, well, I'm in the holodeck. I will reframe my belief about the reality I'm in, and that newfound confidence, that new reframing of the situation allows me to control the dream, because within the world of the holodeck, that's much easier compared to the framework of waking life. And the final half, expectation. Expectation is the engine upon which dream control runs. In order to control your dreams fully, you need to fully understand the nature of belief and expectation, how that influences and controls the dream world around you. But that's an incredibly complex subject, one which you definitely need to subscribe to this channel to fully understand. Let me give you an example. You're watching a YouTube video and you have expectations about what's going to happen. But what's really going to happen is not